The main livelihood activity for most people in Chongwe district is maize production and, to a lesser extent, groundnut production. Food and nutrition insecurity is prevalent, with maize harvests making up the bulk of diets but only providing sufficient food for 7 months of the year. To meet this hunger gap, many households engage in laboring and charcoal burning to support their livelihoods. Hunger in target areas has been particularly severe, with a drought that has affected southern Zambia, leading to massive crop failures in past seasons. The overall goal of this project by Self-Help Africa is to contribute to enhanced food, income and nutrition security of smallholder farming communities in Lusaka province. The project contributes to the Sustainable Development Goal number 2, which is zero hunger, and aligns with AGCO Agriculture Foundation focus of providing holistic approach to the prevention and relief of hunger. The Enhanced Local Capacity for Sustainable Poultry Production in Zambia project has focused on increasing poultry production as an empowerment tool amongst targeted groups in the district. It is not from without. On the overall, changing diets in Zambia has seen the population increasingly incorporating poultry protein, that is meat, table eggs and processed products in their diets, especially that this growth has largely been driven by increased market demand for poultry resulting from rising beef, pork and mutton prices. For the rural poor, poultry plays a critical role in social safety nets for vulnerable households who in periods of stress can use it to supplement their feeding or convert it to cash through sale. This is especially the case for smallholder farmers who dominate poultry production in Zambia, accounting for 65% of poultry production. The Enhanced Local Capacity for Sustainable Poultry Production in Zambia project, implemented by Self-Help Africa and financially supported by AGCO Agriculture Foundation, aims to help achieve that objective.
The Enhanced Local Capacity for Sustainable Poultry Production is a one-year project which is looking at increasing productivity, skills, and income for smallholder farmers in Chongwe district. The project has been implemented over a one-year period, and that is with funding from AGCO Agriculture Foundation. It has involved a lot of capacity building, especially in terms of trainings, delivering trainings to the smallholder farmers, but also provision of inputs in terms of the actual day-old chicks, as well as the chickens, even at point of lay, of improved breeds, in order to improve the capacity of these smallholder farmers. Other than trainings, there's also been a lot of exposure to some of the improved methods of raising chickens.
One of the strategic objectives of the foundation was to improve nutrition, and protein being one of the most important food items in nutrition. So we partnered with Self-Help Africa to ensure that the people of Chongwe, who are our main target group, are supported with the management of poultry farming, both in terms of nutrition but also as a business. So the poultry project in Zambia that's funded by the foundation looks at developing capacities for poultry farmers to be able to improve their husbandry skills, to improve housing for poultry, and also improve consumption of protein by the communities that rear these birds.
The number of beneficiary farmers has since been increased to 250 farmers, and the upscale means more coverage and increased impact at community level. The project aimed at building the capacity of smallholder farmers in Chongwe to improve skills in poultry farming, management and marketing. The drastic dependence on agriculture and other natural resource-based livelihood strategies of rural populations makes the poorest people the most vulnerable to climate variability and long-term climate change. For many of the beneficiaries, the project, which commenced in and around November 2020, ably responded to their anxieties and needs at a time when the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic had affected so much at household level.
Self-Help Africa came to Kanakantapa during the COVID period when it started. They came to sensitize farmers over COVID. So we were trained on how to go about sensitization. At the same time, we were asked to distribute buckets, also soap and sanitizers, as well as the masks to all the farmers around our community. So with that, after doing the sensitization, their main aim was to come and help farmers to improve themselves in terms of farming as a business. So they took it up and they began training us as farmers. They started training us in farming as a business. Then they also did feed formulation. They also looked at diseases and livestock management. So with that, they further empowered us by giving us the local, I would say, croilers and also the broilers. They initially gave broilers as a group, but for the croilers were given as individuals to raise those chickens.
Actually, the project had started with issues around COVID-19, and we had trainings. We had trainers of trainers. We had trained farmers in issues around COVID-19. And then after that, now we had the More Poultry project, which we are talking about right now.
Their production capacities were low due to limited movements, which also meant reduced means of providing for themselves. This further increased the already prevalent incidences of hunger and nutrition insecurity in the targeted areas. The project helped in sensitizing the farming communities on the new disease, reaching out to many of them on how to avoid contracting the disease. The key components of support under this project have included the following: identification and mobilization of project beneficiaries, provision of starter packs at group and individual level. This included chicks, feeders, and feed, among others. Provision of training around poultry production, which has been a permanent feature during the implementation of the project. For purposes of implementing this project, Self-Help Africa facilitated for the formation of commodity producer groups, CPGS.
The project at the moment in Chongwe is being implemented in 4 different camps, and we have got 6 CPGs. These are commodity producer groups that we have trained in Chongwe. The project is running in Palavana camp. It's running in Mwalumina, and Mwalumina, because of the size of the camp, it was cut into 2. We have got Ndombwi and we've got Chidiavale. And then the other place is Lukoshi, which is also quite vast. And because of its size, it had to be cut into Jute and also Lukoshi itself. And then the other camp that is participating is Kanakantapa camp.
One key feature of this project has been the number of trainings conducted targeting the commodity producer group members and individual farmers.
We'll be training what we call community livestock auxiliaries. Of course, these are like they are like the vets within the groups. So even each CPG has got a vet officer. Let me put it in brackets, like a vet officer. And the role of these vet officers, or the CLAs as we call them, is for them to help with the day-to-day running of the poultry businesses. They are going to be trained in a whole lot of topics to do with poultry health. We'll be looking at vaccinations, we'll be looking at identifying diseases, we'll be looking at treatments, and that is what the kind of training that they are going to receive. And from here, after they have received the trainings, it's them now that will go in the communities. Apart from training others, they'll also be in charge of overseeing the health or the smooth running of the poultry businesses within their communities.
The trainings have been diverse and helped in equipping knowledge and skills to the beneficiary farmers.
At this point, I also want to just acknowledge the technical assistance which we received from the government, particularly the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock, because they were really on hand to provide that technical trainings to these smallholder farmers.
Through the trainings, farmers and technical staff have also had an opportunity to interact and establish relationships that can help in advancing the objectives of the project. Improving nutrition and inclusion has also been another empowerment activity.
Our focus has always been on nutrition knowledge, number one. And after they understand what is food, what are nutrients, what is nutrition, all those basic issues, food diversification, and then now we'll go to conducting cooking demonstration, and usually we call them cooking participatory practices, because the people themselves have to practice in cooking the locally available but nutritious foods. As Self-Help Africa, we have a gender and inclusion policy. That means that in terms of inclusion, we don't choose everyone that is available or the vulnerables that we are looking for. That means people living with disabilities, the youths, and the old people, the women and the men are all included.
It is also already yielding results and shaping the future, particularly for the youths.
It has helped me in terms of cooking, nutrition, because I've went for a workshop, done nutrition and gender. So I'm planning to start up a restaurant. Yeah, because they've helped me in terms of cooking. I know some foods that different people eat.
The solar-powered incubators have made a whole difference.
We also provided incubators, solar incubators. All that was to see how best we can increase the numbers, the productivity of these chickens. So at selected points, the farmers were provided with incubators, and once the chickens started laying eggs, they were able to take their eggs into these incubators where they were able to hatch, and they were able to increase the numbers of their chickens.
Bofika pano tankana nkuku zambiri tazamba ku ikila ma eggs iban tinamboeka mu incubator, then manje zamba ku station chikachinga manje batenga, then na community nayo inashita benefit.
We have 2 incubators in Marumina Culture Camp, which is simply helping farmers in terms of improving the hatchery percentage, hatching percentage, and the number of birds to a number of chicks in the camp.
I got interested when the incubator came. I said, wow, this is a chance for me to do something different. So I got some few eggs, took to the incubator, and I was very happy because the hatch rate for quails was 99%.
The supply of the incubators was also timely.
So we have got actually increased numbers of poultry. As we are speaking right now, the numbers of chickens have really increased, and we have seen an increase, an improvement in the livelihood of our farmers, because now they have got more chickens to sell on the market. They have got eggs to sell on the market, and I believe that very soon, some of them, in fact, if not all of them, they will even start supplying chicks to other farmers.
At the start of the project, Self-Help Africa provided the initial batch of chickens.
For CBGs like Chidiabale, Ndombwe, Kanakantapa, and Palavana, each of them received 200 chicks. We got them from Ross breeders, and also they received feed, and there were feeders, drinkers, medicines, and just other things that come around raising a chicken from day old until it reaches market weight. And all of this, of course, the farmers received from the project. They did not have to pay anything, just as a way of empowering the farmers. So this is what constitutes the starter pack.
Those farmers, for sure, they were empowered in terms of capacity building. Then the issue of chickens, they were provided with chickens, including feed for both. In fact, we had improved breed and the common broilers.
We started last year, that was December. We started first with the broilers, then later came the free-range chickens.
Self-Help Africa tinalandila festive vanatetela mabroiler, number 2 abwatetela ma free-range na incubator.
Productivity increase at household level is also a common feature.
Kwatine pali nina 30 zame zabalana pali zili 4 zija zakwana kwa 30 manje.
The first batch, they provided the birds, they provided all the equipment, including the feed. We learned from that. So the second batch we had to buy on our own. We made a good profit out of the first batch, which they gave us 200 birds. Then the second batch, we bought another 200 birds. Now we're at 250 birds. So we are improving.
The project also came with a strong youth involvement, participation, and empowerment component. One of the recipients to the Self-Help Africa support under this project are youths in Palavana area of Chongwe.
Within the Self-Help Africa, I would point at the youths in Palavana, the gifted youths. Actually, they are one of the beneficiary groups under this project, and I was quite excited when I learned that this is one of the beneficiary group that would receive this package from Self-Help Africa. Because many a times in farming, we take farming as a venture for the old people, those who have retired, but to see the youths engaging in farming and to look at the whole group, population of the beneficiary group, mostly dominated by youths, it was quite a worthwhile experience and something that other areas could copy from as well.
Palavana, deliberately, we went for the youths because we felt they were the most vulnerable at that time when this project was being implemented.
A lovely warm welcome, dear listener, to the Self-Help Africa radio program.
This radio program on the locally based Chongwe radio is aimed at providing an opportunity to the wider community in the district to learn more about poultry rearing.
Mogona wasati kuti ngona chape mutengo nkuku kukacha chape mpeza yenda kudala kufika pa Christmas ndiye kutama ngisana manje muzonse mutama.
Welcome to Chongwe Radio Self-Help Africa program. Tachoma mai ndimo ndani mtumira kote.
The consistent broadcasting during the implementation of the project means that many more persons continued to access information that has benefited them.
Broiler chickens came with a starter pack of feed, of feeders, drinkers, even medicines. And all of this, they did not have to pay anything for it.
I have been your moderator, John Mkopola. Until next Monday at the same time, God bless.
The implementation of this project comes with many lessons and benefits.
It has given us a platform to be out in the field, and provide extension services within the short period of time. So it has been quite a fascinating and exciting period, especially to hear the first-hand experiences from farmers.
And for the traditional leadership, this empowerment of communities also entails practical reduction of poverty to the citizens.
Ku bana batu chankala chitandizo chachikuru chizatsirizako umpawi kozi pakankalidwe kakuno kwatu amadalira mutobetabeta aye mutobetabeta utu ma technology yosungiramo vivetu vinali vosamaliriwa chabe votayirira vakutolo kudya nivija vakuti vienda vididyesa chabe kulibe kuti kapena vanga vichingirize then na vakudya vamene imafunikira nkuku kuti ichingiriwe kumatenda vana vankala vaziva kuti ichi chiteko nikachisunga so
The expectations are high, particularly that the support has also enabled for close collaboration among the group recipients.
Izankala izachinja malo yatu. Tizankala vija vakuti kapena ng'ombe nizotayirira chabe, kapena nkuku nizotayirira chabe. Izankala na time yakuti ichi chakudya chipasiwe. Manzi yapasiwe. Chija chintu chizakula na tupia bwino.
The partnership support from Self-Help Africa and AGCO Agriculture Foundation may be closing out from these farmer recipients after a 12-month implementation phase. Yet, the scored successes are many. The future is in their hands, and for the moment, most of them simply show their gratitude.
The only words that I have is just to thank them most sincerely because they've opened our eyes.
It has been a great project. I'll still repeat, though short, but it's something that if we had a chance or a forum maybe to discuss with the implementers, would want it probably to go a little bit longer so that the farmers appreciate what this project was designed for.
Ni kuonga chabe zikomo ku kampani po tikumbuka kuno kumaro kwatu kuti titandizire mapunziro.
Papali manje kaiti vanatitandiza veve then tina nkuku so mzapitiriza chifukwa chakuti vanatipasako capital tenzeri bepo yambila but veve vatandiza tipasako po yambila so sitizaleka vonse zapitiriza chifukwa chakuti nkuku tinazo then na ma eggs yaliko.
I must state that all this, implementation of this project would not have been possible without the support from AGCO Agricultural Foundation. So we're extremely grateful to them. And for them, with us, it was the issue of partnership indeed, and not the issue of a donor, and a recipient and so forth. But I think it was true partnership in the sense that other than providing the funding, they were also very much involved in ensuring that the project is implemented according to what we agreed upon that should happen.
And a solidarity message from the AGCO Agriculture Foundation, who partnered with Self-Help Africa in Zambia.
I think if the farmers are able to now improve on the way they used to do things and see, themselves having more birds in their poultry house, selling some of these, making some money out of it, and also their nutritional the nutritional aspect of it must also be considered. We want to see families having access to more meat, poultry meat or chicken, having access to eggs. We want to see children going to school, having eaten well and more healthier. And I think that for me that would be successful for this project.
The enhanced local capacity for sustainable poultry production in Zambia by Self-Help Africa has helped deliver on its mandate. It is a seed planted to prevent and relieve hunger among the many communities of Chongwe.